What's up, Xeno community? I just want to take some time to talk about a recent incident that been on my mind. So I just felt the need to vent and discuss this conflict. Okay, so some that sees this video already knows what went down, and the remaining others may think, okay, what now? What conflict? And I wish to God I had the first clip because it made my point look weak. But the first fight was normal, no issues. As for the second fight, I knew from what he was using and what he was doing, it was where his damage was coming from. So guys, pay attention to what he was trying to do along with what we were using. So this is what went down. And after the fight, he leaves. But this is not the only thing. Yep, he calls me a cheeser. Like, how was I cheesing there, bro? I literally beat him, mainly using my hands. I hit him with a breakless ultimate because of his super soul. Accidentally stunner broke him twice, and he didn't break my stamina not once. But shit, I'm supposed to be the problem. I'm the bad guy. Now, I don't know if he's in denial or just plain fucking retarded. After the first time he tried to freeze me and didn't work, he still attempted to freeze me. The first fight he's playing the same except less aggressive with Super Godfist. Loses the match because he didn't manage his stamina. But some of you may be wondering, what were you using the first match? What were you doing? I'm gonna spoil for the next video, so this is screenshots of what I was using. Like I said, the first fight was never an issue. The issue was mainly within the second match. Anybody may argue whether what I did was cheap or cheesy, but personally I felt with what he was doing, I did what I had to do. I never once complained, I just kind of played. But at the same time, I'm not going to pretend I don't complain about anything in this game. And in the past, I have complained about how cheap or cheesy people play, but didn't expect him to message me complaining about my Maja preset, but I didn't utilize it in a cheesy way whatsoever while he played how he played. And to be people like him to say that I'm cheap or a cheeser, at the end when they lose, which most of my matches people either lose and leave, or they lose then decide to start cheesing or play cheap, or pick a grab spamming Broly. And the majority of the time it doesn't work because I've been through it so many times. But a small percentage of the time I lose the match then they leave like a straight bitch, or tell you to get good. So if there's anybody that experienced the same, bro, I feel your pain. You're not alone. People want to make it seem like you're a cheap player, say haha, exposed you or some dumbass shit. It's Xenoverse 2 and it's one of the biggest toxic games anybody can play. It doesn't matter how good you are, you can play as clean as possible, no limit burst or cheap skills, and people will still complain. I've had people complain about key stun, key cancel, certain skills skills like times 10 or key blast cannon. Someone even complained about the fact that I perfect block too much. Even if I'm one tapping, it's supposed to be considered block spamming. Like, bro, seriously? So people have every excuse in the book of how you play toxic or cheap. That will do you dirty. But anyway, on to the messages so y'all can see the rest that went down. So of course we're gonna start with the fact he was trying to call me being cheesy after the whole thing. And I don't know why I said he was being cheesy. Maybe it was the fact that he called me being cheesy, so I felt the need to let him know, like, bruh, if anybody's cheesing, it's you. But honestly, I wouldn't consider what he did cheese. But it was definitely spamming. Both is evasive and abusing super godfish. And everybody who saw the clip interpreted the same thing. I checked with friends, even other Xeno YouTubers, to request for them to honestly tell me if I was cheesing. And each and everybody said no, I wasn't. And went on to how he was spamming. One of them even called him being cheesy. But in my opinion, I know if you wanted to be cheesy, there was other cheesy skills he could manipulate than what he was using. This guy was typing so fucking fast, I'm like, shit, was I cheesing? As I was starting to feel guilty like I was in the wrong. I had no idea until then he was working on a cosplay video. Meaning, okay, this guy's a YouTuber upset because Dragonball will work on me. But what he didn't know was I picked my Majin preset. Because recently skills were taking up my main CSC Vine, who has the exact same Super Soul equipped. And I don't know about PlayStation, but anybody who's Xbox know that every now and then you get that annoying message saying how you lost rights to your content. So anything DLC will be taking off your presets. But I asked myself after the first match, okay, he spammed that evasive so much along with his skills. Had a Super Soul that he gains his stamina back very quick. What can he do if he can't freeze me? And clearly, as you can see, without it, he couldn't do anything to me. So he chose to play cheap before I popped off any skills on him. So for him to say I was being cheesy was a scapegoat. Anyway, moving on to where I said Dragon Ball could burn through stamina, which is true in a way. But the only reason I managed to win is because I managed my stamina. It was hard because he was spamming the same combo over and over with critical upper and super godfish. And every time I touched him, he would use that evasive. And because of all the damage he was doing, it was starting to make me use more of my stamina in the end. And I barely won, but I did. And then when his evasive wouldn't work on me, he chose to abuse his skills differently. Moving on, he tried to say I landed two ultimates on him in one fight, which is clearly a fucking lie. The first fight, I didn't even have a chance to land my combo on him. One of them were skills that were too slow. The other being an ultimate I needed to land in an angle. There was no way I could try a breakless or not. If I attempted to do after the stem break, the first one wouldn't work because he would already have stemmed back in time to evasive. Maybe I beat the shit out of him to the point he felt like he was getting hit with two ultimates. But that's just a simple no, bro. That for sure didn't happen. I don't know what the hell I meant at the time when I said female earthling knockaway. Probably mistyped. At least they complained about what I used. See, people like him doesn't know what it means to counterplay. People like him doesn't know what it means to be cheesy. Well, I'm gonna show y'all what cheesing is. Now this is where I baited him by hesitating to ready up.
No, 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 no.
Now that's what I call cheesing. But people like him don't understand that. Then he wanna say I was scared to lose the second fight. Well, really I was more annoyed. Because this Dragon Ball relying ass piece of shit loser wanted to spam the entire fight. Like every time I touched him it was like vanishing wasn't an option. Then it got to the point he was so mad over the whole thing he had to go straight to name calling. Like it was that frustrating he wanted to freeze me and he couldn't do it so it ruined his cosplay. And I told him I was right for picking my Majin preset. Because it brought out what type of player he really is deep down. And from that point he continued to be an asshole. In all honesty, this shouldn't have been an argument the moment he messaged me. And then accuses me of lying like, bro, who are you to lie to? And looking back on these messages like, bro, really don't understand. And then says that he landed critical upper and got fits once, but that clearly is a lie. Because after every time he used Dragon Ball in our first match, he was quick to use supers. And it was mainly where all his damage was coming from. Which leads back to me picking an anti-freeze preset. Then says it wasn't a fair match like, bruh, you can't be serious right now. If he has to freeze me with an evasive in order for it to be fair, he's basically saying he needs handicaps. I've beaten him fair and square twice. Nothing cheesy about me taking the ability to freeze me away from him. Then this is where I offered to challenge him with a cast character so we could settle it. I used Vegeta as an example. But when he said he didn't know how to use Vegeta, I asked him what cast does he know how to play. In the middle of it, he brought his tutor in it. So I'm like, should I have a homeboy as good as me or better and we could 2v2. But he wasn't responding to a 2v2 saying his tutor want to fight one of us, so I left it alone. Besides, I had a feeling he was sending his tutor mixed signals like I was being toxic. And this is where I tell him, like, if we ain't rematching, then I'm done here. Like, there's no argument. He claimed he wanted a fair match, and if we had a match and he cast no high tiers, that would change each other's perspective. But after a while, he just stops responding, even after I was continuously trying to figure out the problem. It was then I was trying to figure out what even happened the first match. I was wondering if I really did land two ultimates on him. And if I did, it was my combo. But now I know for a fact I didn't because I remember in order to, I needed two super attacks in the mix. And it takes too long to do considering what he's using. And I didn't exactly have one skills worth spamming because I know I'll be left wide open trying to spam that shit. I just hope everyone understand that that was just me counterplaying. Xenoverse 2 can make another person seem toxic when they're not, and it puts certain types of players in the wrong category. In the end, it may just be an invasive, but it's all about how you use it. Like I said, he didn't cheese with it. He just spammed it a lot. Some people may consider certain things cheese that the next person wouldn't, and maybe he just misunderstood my motive with that Majin preset. Sometimes we just have to think outside the box. But in the end, all I gotta say is a lesson to be learned. So let's do better than this, guys. Like I said, anybody can feel entitled to their opinion on whether I was cheap or cheesy. And as for that giant the making user, make sure you keep either remote serious bomb or all clear handy because it will one shot them out of giant form. Because after he left that second match, I fought one other player. Then he instantly left after he spawned back because he knew he couldn't go giant form on me. But this video is long enough, so I'm gonna wrap this up here. Just want to say I appreciate those of you that took the time to listen to me vent through this whole thing. Part of me didn't know if I was going to discuss this or just drop it. And I usually drop a lot of stuff. And it's because it's typical Xenoverse 2. And that's why at some point I'm going to end up walking away from this game. But yeah, until then, thanks again. I'll see you in the next one.